Hey everyone. Uh, I've just been reading through comments and one of my subscribers, Happy, um, has just commented on a very good point. How do you teach empathy to somebody with a toxic personality, a narcissistic disorder or something like that, along those lines, somebody that hasn't developed empathy? No, I know I'm not a neuroscientist or anything like that, but I've done quite a bit of research into my own brain and how it works, and certain things I've done by myself. I mean, I've always been an empathetic person, but I do, or I did have a lot of toxic behaviours, letting people take advantage of me and things like that, that's a toxic behaviour. Now, and also growing up thinking certain things, just preconditioned things that your parents or whoever's raised you has put into your mind about yourself and reality in society. Now, I've had to unlearn all these toxic thought patterns and beliefs, and I've had to relearn a healthy way of thinking. So, I mean, I've changed how my brain works, just by learning and unlearning and relearning certain things. So I can't really see why not somebody with narcissistic traits can, I can't see why they can't relearn the bad behaviour, unlearn the bad behaviour and relearn the good behaviour. It was possible in me, so it could very well be possible in people that don't possess empathy. I use binaural sound frequencies, rife frequencies, certain frequencies that trigger parts of the brain. They're wonderful for all sorts of things, mood therapy, meditation. But there's also certain frequencies that can trigger nerve regeneration, trigger neuron growth in the brain, reconnect parts of the brain that have been disconnected or haven't even connected or grown. Brain stuff is we still don't know enough about our brains. They can do so much, but I've managed to rewire my brain. So in theory, you'd think that somebody that hasn't got empathy could learn it, and not have to go through all the trauma to learn it. Because there's people that don't even go through trauma that have empathy. It's putting it all into one big pot and trying to work out a way forward for everyone. Because I'm sure a lot of narcissists and toxic people don't like being like that, and they find it hard to accept it, and ridiculed for starters for having a mental illness, that stops a lot of people coming forward and getting help, or even knowing that they've got a mental illness. It was many years before I even knew that I had one. But I had to delve deep into myself and into psychology and science and everything and things, to find out my own way forward. Because you can get a diagnosis and you don't know what it is. They don't tell you the ins and outs of it. They just tell you this big long name of something and they tell you that you've got it. So it's like, oh, okay, what do I do now? And if you don't do the delving yourself, you won't find out. They're not forward with that sort of thing for some reason. They'd rather stick you on a load of tablets. Oh, this will level your mood out. Yeah, it levels your mood out. Unfortunately, it makes you a zombie. You don't feel happy, you don't feel sad, you don't care. It is basically like living in a narcissistic world. It's not as bad, obviously, but it's very strange, especially for an empath, that you don't care about what's going on around you. You're not happy for people. You're not sad when you're supposed to be. It feels very strange. That's why new tablets weren't working for me. I knew, I understood that it was something that was in my brain that needed to be sorted out. And tablets, they do some things, you know. It's good for when you're going through therapy, you know. It's when you're having to talk about these traumatic times, it's good for calming you down, you know, and to be able to talk. So yeah, in a way, yeah. But then there's a bad side of things, that it doesn't actually solve the problem. It just masks it. And if you don't ask for certain things, if you don't refer yourself for certain therapies and things like that, especially in this country, you won't get it. The doctors won't say, oh, you need this, you need to do that, you could try this instead, you know. It's no, yeah, there's a different tablet here, we'll just put up the strength of it, and we'll add a few more tablets just to see if that works. And you're just there like a zombie gaining weight, living in a world of darkness still, while all the abuse is going on. And it was only actually my first ever therapist. When I first started going to therapy, he said to me that I needed to change my environment. I needed to change the people around me, the toxic people. He said that if I didn't do that, then the therapy wouldn't work, because I'd be constantly getting triggered again. And he was right, you know. It took me a while to get away from people and to realise who these toxic people were. And through the process of this, I stopped going to therapy. I couldn't deal with it because I was still dealing with a lot of toxic things at home, you know, and it was horrible. And he was right, he was dead right. Because every time I started moving forward, these toxic people would knock me back to where I was, even more so beyond where I was. Very, very, very easily they'd do this, you know, but it was all for control over me, because they saw me getting better. So yeah, kick off and let's get you back to how you was, Kaz, before I could control you. Which is sick in itself, you know. It's just for their own gratification. And for anybody that keeps you in a state of mind like that, you know, friend, family, relationship partner, you know, even work colleagues, anybody that's willing to do that to you just to keep control over you, they really shouldn't be in your life. But yeah, once I figured out who these people were, I started moving forward. Therapy started working. My brain had chance to get away from all this, all these lies and all these people and all this trauma, constant bombardment just to the brain. You know, it wasn't so much the physical stuff, it was just the mental stuff, you know. I can take punches and things like that, but when it comes to messing with my head, I fall apart very easily. Have an argument with me and my brain shuts down. I can't argue back. It just says, nope, I'm not doing it. You know, it's like when I'm talking about some certain traumatic things, it just, nope, sorry, you're not going there, Kaz, and shuts up, you know. Same as arguments, I just sit there quiet, you know, can't argue back. It's very strange, very strange. But it's frustrating as well, because you can't get your point across, or you start getting your point across and your brain shuts down and you're not getting your point across. So people misunderstand what you're saying, whether it's a toxic person or not, you know. It's just the emotion that takes over me at that moment in time, you know. I can't control. I don't know, there's panic and all sorts, you know. It's fear and frustration and everything when I argue with anybody. I just can't do it. I hate it. That's always been the case, and I don't know if that's from hearing my grandparents arguing or other people arguing, I don't know. I do sort of like remember arguments when I was a kid, but always muffled. They was always away from me, but whether he was arguing about me or what, I could still hear shouting, and I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Gran doing all the shouting and Grandad just being quiet, or if it was the other way around. I mean, I can't imagine my granddad kicking off at my gran. I can imagine it the other way around. You know, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp type thing, you know. She's screaming, kicking off, and he's doing all he can to keep the situation calm, you know, and doing, you know, just doing what he can to keep the peace. And that's the sort of person I am as well, you know, anything to keep the peace and a quiet life. But when you're with a narcissist or in a narcissistic relationship of any sort, you know, you can't keep the peace because they don't want the peace to be kept. It's horrible. And they do it on purpose, just to cause drama, to keep you trapped. And it certainly does keep you trapped. But yeah, happy. Thank you very much for commenting. seemed like a beautiful soul. Yeah, as far as taking kids away from family as well, I don't agree with that at all. Kids, even in that self, taking a kid away from its family, it's traumatic for the child. Just that. I mean, I've had to do it with my daughter. Had to take her away from her dad. Like I say, in another video, she blamed me, but as she grew up, she realised what her dad was like and understands now why I had to do that. But I was always for her having a relationship with her dad. Very much so, all the way through the divorce and the child custody case. Joint custody. I didn't want to take her dad away from her. And he was the one that took himself away from her. So, we've both tried over the years, me and Jade, to get in contact with him and things like that, and it lasts for a few weeks, and then the novelty wears off. He stops calling, or he won't answer the phone, or he's busy, blah, 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 all these same excuses he's used over and over the years just because he doesn't want to talk to anybody. Because he has to step up to the mark and be responsible, and that's not the sort of person he is. Yeah, so I forgot where I'm going with that again. But yeah, Happy, thank you very much for all your comments. Hopefully, if Amber gets found out, which it looks like it is, everybody can see what she is. I'm hoping that there's going to be some sort of intervention between her and the daughter. It's just the humane thing to happen. I mean, in this country, she'd have her kids taken off her, and it's not what you really want to happen. But when you've got a little child and a narcissistic parent, and the narcissistic parent doesn't even acknowledge that they are a narcissist, that poor kid is going to go through life, early life, being traumatised, and it will affect that child's mental health, either making them into another narcissist, just like she is, or the complete opposite and being an empath like we are. It's how it goes. But hopefully with all this in the spotlight, she will get investigated into her fitness for having children, really, to be able to look after them. But hopefully, instead of her having the child taken away, that they will actually work with the pair of them, because Amber Heard needs psychiatric help, very much so, like a lot of people, narcissists and toxic people, not just narcissists. It's all on a different scale, isn't it? It's just another word for a toxic person. They all need help. They all need some sort of rehabilitation, some sort of unlearning and relearning of morals, for starters, But whether that can happen or not, I don't know. I'm sure they've tried tests on all sorts of psychiatric, serial killers and all sorts, haven't they, that they've tried to rehabilitate and stuff. I mean, whether it's the right sort of rehabilitation, obviously we need to do more research into our brains and how we work, because we hardly use any of it. I mean, mine's expanded in the last few years. I'm using a hell of a lot more. I mean, I was considered thick at school, but because of what was going on at home and being bullied at school and things like that, it's no wonder my brain couldn't concentrate through school. But since I've got away from all these toxic people and spent time, to call it, in hermit mode, isolating myself away from society and learning things, I've realised that I've got a brain. It's quite a decent one. It's brilliant at research, brilliant at finding out facts and lies. Yeah, that's been part of all the abuse and the things that have been kept from me. It's turned me into be a cracking detective. This is why I need to go into psychology. I would like to go into the criminal law side of things, considering what's happened to me, try and stop it from happening to other people, because obviously there was no evidence for my case. It was my word against my uncle's word and against my family's word, so But luckily that statement that I've made, if anything else comes up with the family, especially my uncle, my statement will be put forward with other people's evidence. That's if you did it to anybody else, you know. You did it to me, it's quite possible you could have done it to other people. So, you know, if in the event that happens, you know, my evidence will go forward and it will be put forward. So it's not gone to waste. My voice hasn't gone to waste. Even though my family think it has, like, you know, that that I was lying through it all. You know, the police believe me. It's just that there wasn't enough evidence there to go through for court for a case. I mean, there might be one day where my mental health might come into play, or if somebody else comes through and you know, says that he's abused them as well, or one of my family stands up and, you know, has the balls to say, yeah, I saw what was going on, or I thought this might have been going on, or yeah, I saw the signs, because there was signs, you know. There's so many signs, even from what I can remember. So yeah, but there we go. People don't want to say the truths and things like that. Secrets like to be kept secret, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm as open and honest as I possibly can be. You know, I've got nothing to be scared of. I've got nothing to be frightened of. I want people to see the real me, and this is what I'm hoping with this channel. People will see the real me, and put 2 and 2 together and not come up with 5, like believe in my family, because I know a lot of people do. You know, friends that me and my mother got together, you know, I know she's been stirring the shit between a lot of friends, you know, just over the years, daft things. I just hope that they realise and see. Well, my battery's on 5% now, so I'm going to say goodbye, charge my phone, and then upload this video. But thank you very much, everybody, for commenting, subscribing, sharing, liking my videos. It's great to be able to answer questions, and people, you know, I can see what wavelength you're on and how much you understand about it all. And it's the questions and the comments, it's just a brilliant what you're coming out with, the understanding that you've got, and also giving me a bit of backup with my understanding as well, you know. It's nice. So yeah, I'm glad everybody finds this a nice safe place to talk about this sort of thing, and I'll offer as much support as I can. So stay safe and take care, everybody. Love you lots. Bye bye.